Their working abilities are not weaker than men. Women are not supposed to take care of household affairs, and they get more chances to develop their career life. Now in Japan, more women focus on their career life than before too. But there are some differences between Hong Kong and Japan, because there is some traditional values that marriage can gain social trust in the past. But now we can see that marriage is no longer a way to gain social trust anymore. Then let's move on to the challenges facing Hong Kong and Japan on marriage issues. Here in Hong Kong, the populations of females is far more than now, and lots of females come to Hong Kong from mainland China. Hence, Hong Kong women are facing fierce competitions if they want to get a partner. Because they find it difficult to get a partner, so fast dating and matching services are demanding in Hong Kong. But in Japan, people prefer love-based marriage than blind dating. Rates of marriage is supposed to be lower, and age to get married will be postponed. Let's look at this graph. You can see that in this graph, the amount of unmarried Japanese will be rising in the future years.
In conclusion, today our presentation intends to throw more light on the late marriage. Our original aim is to assert what we have learned in the class. As most of you have accomplished our questionnaire, you may notice that most of our questions are based on hypotheses from the lectures and readings. At the first stage, we focus on contemporary university students in Japan and Hong Kong by distributing questionnaires online. Consequently, those we can access are modernized university students who possess a laptop and have a Facebook account. Because of limited data, some of our research results do not completely in accord with our default knowledge. Therefore, we also carry out some vis-a-vis interviews with Japanese exchange students in CUHK to make our research more accurate. At the second stage, we not only focus on the university students, but also look deeply into the whole society. By analyzing the statistics from government documents, we make more sense of the postponement of marriage, and meanwhile, we try to rationale the factors behind such phenomenon, from economy, society, and cultural aspects. Here is our presentation. Utilizing our primary statistics and supported by official data, we elaborate late marriage issue in terms of ideal and reality, economy, age, and society, as well as family pressure. Thank you for your patient listening. Please feel free to ask any questions.
Hi, I'm Rosa, and I think the increasing divorce rate is quite serious in both Hong Kong and Japan. And how do you think that it affects the perception of people in both Hong Kong and Japan on the divorce rates affecting their marriage differently?
I think in Hong Kong, people might be, I think girls might possess a more careful attitude towards their spouse because they tend to find a man with more asset or a stable income and a good employment. But in Japan, I think it might be a little bit different because as the divorce rate is quite high, I think sometimes they would tend to not to marry, or this is a little bit paradox because sometimes they should carry both of their age and their beauty as well as her potential spouse. So it's a paradox for most women because they want to postpone their marriage, but actually their age don't allow them to do so. To some extent, I think.
Cassie, your face seems has some question you want to ask. Selena. How about Taka?
Can you give me a minute?
What about Phyllis? Do you have any question you want to ask?
I'm thinking.
Cyrus has a question.
Cyrus, thank you for your question. Don't be hesitant.
brave.
Vicky.
As the property price is relatively increasing in both Hong Kong and Japan, do you think that the increase of since many people that would like to have their own living and their own house after their marriage and may not want to live with their parents, and since the property price is relatively high in nowadays Hong Kong and Japan, do you think that the price of property price will also affect the marriage percentage of both the places?
Yes, I agree with you too. Because in the modern China or in the modern Japan, people tend to make the family size smaller and smaller, and the three generation families is decreasing in both in Hong Kong and in Japan. So the people they want to have the two men the size of small size. They need to find a house to buy or to rent. However, the house rent is getting higher and higher in Hong Kong or in Japan. In Hong Kong, we have some facial work, or in China, we have some facial work, such like Wogoi, to describe the people need to pay a lot of money, but they only living in a very dense houses. So I also agree this kind of factors will affect the living conditions of the families, and it will decrease their interest about to making a new family or even getting married. So they postpone their marriage age to a level that they can afford those high house rent. So thank you. Any?
Yes, I'm Vita. You have pointed out many points, and that causes the late marriage and the declining rate of marriage. But such as the living condition or the other problems. So then I want to ask any one of you: do you want to get married?
Yes. It is because it is one part of life, and I think it would be interesting. Yes, just because it is interesting, so I want to try.
Try?
Yeah. Yeah, try.
And do you want to get married? This is our claim, and we would like to ask you these questions. And can you put up your hand if you want to get married, please? If you can. Almost all of us want to get married. But Natalie, why aren't you putting up your hand?
Because I
not sure if I can find a good husband.
Then for girls, would you like to have a baby? Then raise your hands. Cassie, who do you want to have a baby to?
My husband.
So, do you have any more question want to ask about this topic or ask about us? If no, then
My question is, since I think Rita's question is very interesting. After you do this presentation, like you know about the society pressure and the economy pressure, so did you change your mind or do you have any other new view? Like Nora, you said you want to get married, so what about if you face the economic pressure or any other pressure that you learned from the presentation?
then I may, my answer actually is probably not to marry. But since the pressure from society or from the economy is quite it's quite tough for me. So maybe if I want to get married, and maybe I will postpone my marriage age about at 30 or something. For men, or this is okay for them to marriage at their 30s. But for women, maybe they will think about this is quite strange or weird that they married at their 30s. For girls, you can say.
I think for me only. I think if I meet the right man, then go. If no, then don't. I don't think age would be a factor for me to consider when to get married or other pressures such as the economic factors. I don't think it would be a hinder for me. Yeah, if I have an economic problem, then I won't have a super bravo marriage, a wedding party, just like that. But if yes, that's all.
What about the other?
And in my opinion, maybe it'd be more difficult for guys because as now you know the price and the expense of the whole society is rising. So in Japan, you know the education fee is quite high. So if I really marry a Japanese man, I expect he has a very good asset, at least a very good social status, and have stable income, so that I can make sure that my children can have a better education. And in Hong Kong, it's the same case. Girls always expect their husband to have house and car. That's the basic need, but it's the difficult for most guys. So I think and for guys, they have more pressure to get married because they have to continue their family. But girls don't have that because they just marry and help the other families. So I think guys have more pressure.
To me, I agree with Nora, and I think economic some factors is not really affecting me, because if you don't have money, then you don't have a ceremony if you are going to have wedding. I think it is the main point is we need to have the right person. If you meet a right person, Mr. Right, and then you go.
I share a similar opinion with Noah and Mickey. I think it just depends on whether you can find the one you want. If you really meet him or her, then I think
You have choice.
you do whatever things you can to be with him or her.
Thank you.